What it do, flight team? Fresh out the shower after I finished playing ball earlier, man. So yeah, I have to kind of leave the weights under the rag. Okay, do not cut me. I promise. We gonna be back at it tomorrow, man. Y'all gonna see me be swimming once again. But here we go, man. We got 11 horrifying games of video game edition, or 11 horrifying cases, excuse me, of video game edition, man. This is actually personal topic to me because, man, I've been playing games since I was about 2 years old. It all started off on a PC, and you know how that goes, man. It just worked its way up. The next gen systems came, man, and you know, I can maybe relate to this, bro, because I feel like this may be something serious than what people may think.
Actual withdrawal symptoms from being deprived from video games to murder and assault, we count 11 horrifying examples of gaming addiction.
Number 11.
Tunnel vision. There are some crazy internet cafes in the world. For instance, in Taiwan, a 23-year-old man named Chen paid for 23 hours of time at his favorite place in order to binge on World of Warcraft. But 23 hours later, when the staff came to tell him his time was up, they realized something was horrible. He was dead and had been for a while. Then a big commotion was raised with the staff and they called the emergency services. Turns out he died thanks to heart failure, as the cafe was filled with cigarette smoke. But the worst thing here is that the other gamers didn't even notice until the forensic team showed up and they had to evacuate. The others were so locked into their games that they didn't even notice that there was a slowly decaying corpse in the room with them. Now that's MLG.
Number 10.
Withdrawal symptoms. A young boy aged 12
I've had this before from not playing games for a minute. I ain't gonna lie.
So much so that he spent any chance he got to play it. Which, I mean, isn't that crazy when you think about it? But what is crazy is his reactions when cut off from the game. It only took him a few hours for him to reach an incredibly dark place. We're not talking about throwing tantrums. He legitimately began to think about committing suicide. He's not the only one that had these feelings, because an addict going through video game withdrawal can experience anxiety, irritability, and depression. They can even feel physical symptoms such as nausea and dizziness.
Nah, I never got that serious for me. Not nausea,
problems.
but
We're
I
not just
felt
talking about
depressed not
getting
playing the game
fat
for a
or
minute.
lacking enough muscle to do anything but wank and move your thumbs. There are some severe health side effects that can be caused by playing games way too much. The first and most prominent one is repetitive strain injuries, where your thumbs, fingers, and or wrists have been damaged. If you don't catch it and treat it early, the damage can be a lifelong chronic pain. Then there's all the problems that come with being sedentary. Sitting down for too long is not healthy.
Hey, man.
It can cause heart failure. One kid reported that he had played WoW so much that he had developed deep vein thrombosis, where a blood clot forms due to inactivity. If untreated, the clot can travel into your brain or heart and kill you.
Number 8.
The extreme Tetris effect. For the few of you that have never heard of it or experienced the Tetris effect, it's this thing your brain does after playing a game for too long and you keep playing the game in your head. This most commonly happens with Tetris. This isn't really that big of a deal for most people. However, one woman was so focused on where imaginary blocks would go that she drove into oncoming traffic and was T-boned by a car. In a stroke of luck, the speeding hunk of metal didn't take any lives, but this level of Tetris effect could only happen to someone completely addicted.
Number 7.
Pyromania. Now before we go any further, I'm not the kind of person that believes video games can cause violence. There's too little evidence proving that it does, and a decent amount that proves that it doesn't. The people committing these crimes are mentally unstable individuals that use video games as an outlet. Anyway, back on topic. A 17-year-old boy was extremely frustrated after he lost a schoolyard fight. So he did what any good fire mage would do, find some fossil fuel, pour it on his victim and light him on fire. He claimed he lost himself in the World of Warcraft when
my gosh, I'm done.
Fire. He had transformed into a fire mage. He was sent to prison for 8 years and had to pay the victim and his family just over the equivalent of $100,000 US.
Number 6.
Playing a game to death. This isn't hyperbole. There have been numerous reports of people playing games without significant pause for so long that they die of exhaustion. The most notable case of this is a 32-year-old man in Taiwan who stayed at an internet cafe for 3 days so he could play his favorite online game.
3 days?!
Another man in Taiwan suffered the same fate after playing video games for over 5 days in a row. Don't get me wrong, I've binge played a game before, but I can't imagine being so addicted to a game that I literally keep playing until death takes me.
Number 5.
Grand delusions. A 13-year-old was so obsessed with WoW that he lost his mind. He wasn't unintelligent, as he had good grades at school, but that didn't stop him obsessively writing an 80,000-word in-character diary about the game. This isn't what makes him delusional and clearly addicted, however. At some point, he thought to himself that he couldn't bear being apart from the characters in the game, so he left a note for his parents and jumped off a 24-story building. His suicide note claimed he had gone to join the heroes of the game that he worshipped. His parents then sued the Chinese distributor of WoW for the equivalent of $12,500.
What is going on in you guys' mind right
Number
now?
4.
Revenge. During the Diablo-like online RPG Legend of Mer 3's peak, equipment was worth a lot of money. Some would go for up to $10,000 online. Zhu from China borrowed a sword from his friend Qi for a while, but then he realized its value. He sold it for $1,000. Needless to say, his friend was incredibly angry. But Qi got so angry that he did something crazy. He stabbed Zhu with great force in the chest and killed him. He was then sentenced to life in jail. This isn't the only case of revenge. Multiple people have been killed or injured over disputes in games. Not all of them had real money behind them either, just hours and hours of playtime.
Number 3.
16-year-old Daniel Petrick got sick with a staph infection and wasn't really able to go outside, so his friends introduced him to the Halo series. He got hooked and wanted to buy Halo 3, but his parents forbade him due to its mature rating. However, he bought it anyway in secret. He clocked up to 18 hours a day and got totally addicted. But when his parents found out, they took the Xbox and the game and locked it away in the safe along with their handgun. David got his father's keys and emptied its contents. He then walked up to his parents, who were sitting on the couch, and told them, "Close your eyes. I have a surprise for you both." He then shot both parents in the back of their heads and then tried to cover it up as a murder-suicide, but his dad survived and was sentenced to jail. David isn't the only case of this happening. 13-year-old boy strangled and assaulted an 83-year-old woman
didn't.
so he could pay for his WoW subscription.
Number 2.
Infant death by negligence. Ever been so hooked into a game that you forget about the world around you? Me too. It's a nice feeling being immersed into a fictional world, but when you have young children in your care, you need to pay attention. There's a depressingly large amount of stories about parents being so involved in their gaming that they ignore their children for long periods of time. So much so that they die for one reason or another. The causes of death vary. One man left a gun in his living room and his 3-year-old thought it was a Wii toy. Another left the room to play on his Game Boy Advance while his 10-month-old twins were in the tub. But sadly, the usual cause is leaving kids to die a slow death.
Number 1.
Filicide. Negligence is one thing. Deliberately harming your own children because they're taking away time from your game is another, much worse thing. When Tony Bragg heard his infant son screaming during his EverQuest time, he walked over to him, squeezed him, and shoved him in the utility closet. He later found that he had squeezed the kid to death. Tyrone Spellman thought his 17-month-old daughter had broken his brother's Xbox, so he did what any rational and well-adjusted human being would do: he beat her to death. He later added the following: "That little baby's head cracked like a walnut." Both of these men are serving long sentences in jail.
Gosh, bro. Damn, bro. Man, this thing made me so mad, dude. Never should you take somebody's life for video games, bro. Now, I can personally relate to this, bro, because especially when I first got Xbox Live, man, like I wanted to play it all the time, bro. And I remember when I used to play basketball in high school, like, bro, I would enjoy playing online and competing with others, playing my basketball game, you know, 2K Live, and then, like beating them and just getting that feeling, bro. And it's just like a virtual reality, bro. I feel when anybody's coming from that, but nowhere they shouldn't have took it that far, bro. What do you guys have to say about this? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think most of these kids took it too far? And can you personally relate to anything that was talked about?